Well, welcome along for the ride. Pretty much the way I got this camera set up, you're kind of sitting head level right where you would be sitting next to me in the car. So at any rate, thought I'd make a little video while I drive along about the live feed, which I tried for the first time ever. I tried this on Sunday, this past Sunday, and I got it all wrong. I thought it would be a lot simpler. I should have rehearsed it. You know, I thought just turn the camera around and turn it on live feed, but you know, I couldn't read people's comments, and I fumbled around with it a lot. And I only had 2 people I knew on there. Everybody else was complete strangers. I'm talking, and a few of them were pretty kind of vulgar, pretty rough. I did try to get the message out there, you know, to talk about God, Christianity, you know, to give them the good news as much as I could in between some of their off-the-cuff remarks and questions. And one person subscribed to my channel. They said that I seemed genuine and they wanted to hear more about what I had to say about God and my beliefs in Christianity and the Bible. So, see, that something worked out good from it. But other than that, it was a mess, a total train wreck. And for those of you that didn't catch it, I'm glad you didn't, because I didn't even mean to post that little clip that wound up. YouTube automatically posts your live feeds. So I didn't even know I had that one on there. So I think I'm going to try this Sunday. I'm not sure what day of the week it is. I'll post it in the descriptions. But this coming Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You know, I'll try to go from 5 to 6, see how it goes. And if you can make it, you know, that's great. I mean, I've blabbed so much on this channel, I can't imagine what more I would have to say that I haven't already said. But there's quite a bit, actually. Kind of a quiet point in my life, which I appreciate. Had a few hauntings, but nothing I really want to talk about. Just, you know, that hasn't changed. Nothing too dramatic. If I do this Sunday, which I intend to do this coming Sunday, and today is July 11th, so whatever day of the week that is, I gotta look, you know, Wednesday 12th, Thursday 13th, Friday 14th, Saturday. So I guess it's Sunday the 16th of July. I think it'll be in the description at 5 p.m. I will make it so that only my subscribers can attend this, so we don't get any more people that I had on there that were some of them were pretty raunchy, just nothing too, not much. But so Sunday, June 16th, Sunday, June 16th, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I live in central New York, far away from New York City. And this road here, Jen lived on this road, and it's where she died too, on this road. And somebody, to me, less consequential, but John D. Rockefeller grew up on this road here too, not far away from Jen's house. For such a little town, Moravia's had some kind of noteworthy VIPs in it, Jen being one of them. But John D. Rockefeller grew up on this road up here, maybe a couple of miles. Millard Fillmore, President of the United States, was born in this town. like in 1810. I'd say about 5 miles from where I'm at right now, off that way, towards the front, the way the car's facing. And there are a few other people. Jethro Wood, who they say he invented the first all-iron plow, which was a major agricultural milestone, I guess. He came from this little town. And of course, yours truly. I didn't come from this town. Actually, I was born in Fredericksburg, Virginia. But I've lived in this town long enough to say I'm from here. By golly, this might be my last year here. It's all temporary, isn't it? So I guess this is also a timblab session. A drive along. Timblab. Yeah, I haven't been even working on my music, and I know I covered Missouri Waltz, and I didn't really do a terrific job on it, but I just haven't been playing. And I really rehearsed just to play that one. Really practiced it and listened to it. Tried to get the feel for it. And a kind of a doldrums point in life. Living alone, not much going on. You know, ask God every day if He's got something for me to share, something for me to do, not just talk about on my channel. I'm leaving myself open for God's work. I've come to believe that I'm alone like I am for whatever His reason is. You know, there's got to be a reason, a plan. Yeah, Jen lived up here on the right here. Down, you can't see it. But that's where she died. I just passed it. That's the house she grew up in, and she passed away in that house. I just passed it. And of course, I think of her with a heavy heart, and her family every time I drive by there. They don't live there. They don't even live in this town anymore. The ones that are still alive. They lost 3 of their family members within 1 month last year. There's something crazy up here on the left. Right, I'll tell you where it is, and I'll tell you what it is. You're not going to be able to see it because they've got bushes and stuff. Right up in here, there's a trailer right in there, and in their front yard is an old graveyard. Seriously. Their front yard is a graveyard. Looks like it has maybe 50 graves and really old stones, like, big flat white, limestone, like from around 1820s, I'd say. I can't believe it. They walk out their front yard door and they're looking at a graveyard. Right, their front yard is a graveyard. They got kids' stuff there, and I knew somebody once that said they rented that trailer. It's a really dilapidated old trailer. And the guy said, yeah, he rented that trailer once. And he told me that he came home from work. Oh, look at the deer. Oh my, oh deer. There are always deer here. This deer crossed the road here all the time. I don't know if you were able to see that. Almost right next to the road. Yeah, it doesn't pay to drive fast on this road. The guy said he came home from work one night, late at night. And he said that he got in his trailer. He said there was an old woman standing in the hallway. And it was a ghost of an old woman. I said, what? And he said, yeah, she was just standing in the hallway when he got home. He said he moved out of there, and that was the end of that. I just remember, that guy told me that story like 15 years ago. And I usually coast down this hill in neutral, see how far I can get. So I will rehearse setting up my camera and the live feed, and I'll set it up better so that it comes off better. I can't believe how badly I messed it up Sunday. So if you missed it, you didn't miss anything. And I'm glad you missed it, because it was not good. Yeah, this is a road. Jen and I saw an odd spirit cross the road going from this side to that side. And this way, that way is, we call it Owasco Flats. It's a vast swampy area, and Owasco Lake is there too, on that side. But there's no houses back in there. It's just a vast swamp. Marshy, grassy area. But we were driving, going this way towards the village, this way, and I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what it was, but I think it was right up here. Coming from that way, it crossed the road in front of us. Now, it wasn't here. There weren't any houses when it happened. It crossed the road, coming from that direction this way, and it was like a brown cloud, about as big as a van, I would say. About as big as a van. And it just crossed the road in front of the car and kept going into the woods. And I said, "Did you see that?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "What was it?" She says, "I don't know. You saw a big brown thing, like a brown cloud cross the road." Yep. So that was odd. I don't know. It was pretty big, about as big as a van. Or a large, yeah, it was pretty big. Mass. It wasn't shaped like anything. Up here on the left is where I saw that, I made a video about it, a black figure in the road behind my car. I got the feeling I was pulled over up here. And I kept getting an uneasy feeling that I wasn't supposed to be there. So I drove off and I looked in my rearview mirror and there was a black figure in the road acting odd. That was right up here, right on the left. Some old derelict buildings back in there. So this town is quite spiritual. I don't know what to tell you. It's like I've said this over and over. I read a history book in the village library, Powers Library, from the 1870s, history of Moravia, written in the 1870s. Thumbing through it, and I saw that the Indians said that this area right here that we call Moravia, the Indians that were here before the white people came in, and the whites settled this area in the 1790s. They said that this area was too spiritually active to live in, but they used to come here to bury their dead and to hunt and just meet up with other tribes. There weren't any wars fought here that I know of, which is nice. And then this area became a spiritualist center, and word has it that Mary Todd Lincoln used to come here. There used to be a train that came through here, and my house used to be that I used to live in on Grove Street was a train station. A train, like the hotel, by the train stop in the 1800s. And they used to say that a lot of, it was a bar too. They said, General Custer used to drink there. But there's a brick house here to my left. It sits back in here. And it used to be a spiritualist center. Long time ago. They used to have seances and stuff. In fact, I'll just drive in there so you can see it. I'll just pull in their driveway and turn around. Oh my God. This place used to be a spiritualist center, a very notable one in America. In fact, it's been said that Mary Todd Lincoln used to come here to try to contact her husband and her dead children, and her husband who had been assassinated. So I didn't come to this town for any of those reasons. I just came here because it looked like a nice area, and my parents were here. When I was away in the Army, my parents moved here back in the late 80s, and I used to come and visit them here, and I liked the town. And when I got out of the active duty, I decided that I wanted to be around my parents. They were getting older. They were about my age now. Then I thought, well, I want to spend some time with my mom and dad while they're still here, and they might need some help. I want to be with them in their old age. And I was. And my kids aren't there for me. There's no guarantees in life. You think you do it all right, and you think you're going to, if you do the right things, you're going to reap good things, but that doesn't always happen. You can do it all right, and people still unload, dump on you, abandon you, let you down. So, disappointing. That's life. God doesn't let me down, and my holy family, my family in heaven, I'm sure they'll never let me down, and I don't have any deep, dark secrets or any skeletons in my closet hiding behind locked doors. As God is my witness, I'll answer to the Lord, and so will everybody else. And just driving around doing a little timblab. I'm alone all day, and this is my turn to talk to somebody. You. I'll show you my exciting little town. I'll take a quick drive up through the Glen. And this little town, see, I'm leaving town now. And I live back there in the center of the village. And, the Glens, here we have a state park. It's kind of nice. Nothing fancy, but it's nice to have a state park. And there's trails that go up through there with like 7 bridges, and there's waterfalls, a deep gorge or glen. And I used to come here every day, and I stopped. I used to hike the trail. I used to run the trail. And I stopped, and I need to get back into that. Lord knows at this point in my life, I need the exercise. I've let myself go way too long. You start rusting at my age, you stop moving, you rust. You rust at any age if you live a sedentary lifestyle. I think all the more so when you get older. See, you got to hike up in there, and there's a really rather spectacular waterfall. Off to the right a ways. It's nice to have campgrounds, and if you got a family, you could come here and cook out. Or if you want to meet someone, you say, meet me at the Glen. I'll be by the falls. Meet me there at 5 o'clock. Have a little romance rendezvous. Maybe. That's been known to happen here. In fact, I think I've partaken in that sort of event here a few times. Yeah, you can't really see that, but you'd have to get out and walk to see the falls and the trails. Just doing a little drive here. Go up the hill. Now, see, I'm a veteran, so I've got to go bring my DD214 in to DMV Motor Vehicles Department, and put VAT on my tags, and then I can get into the state parks in New York State for free. I haven't done that yet, but I get into this one for free anyway. Just walk in. And there's a lot of nice things here, but yeah, we'll go up here. There's a nice little pavilion up here. Places to cook out. Jen and I have cooked out here so many times. People get married up here. They have their reception parties up here. I used to come up here and build a fire in the fireplace in the winter. I don't. This is what it is, getting older. I'm not as active as I used to be. Maybe I'll buy a GoPro for my and wear it. We'll hike the trails together. Yeah, because it's really not doing much good. Just we'll get out and we'll go for a hike. We'll do some hikes together, huh? I need the exercise. I'll tell you, I was up here one night alone, and it was nighttime, and it was pitch black. I'm talking so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. I had a hard time just staying on the road, walking down this hill. And there was coy dogs, or coyotes, I guess. Coy dogs. They're wild coyote kind of dogs, animals. And there was a lot of them, and they were following me. And they were getting closer and closer. And I never used to worry about that stuff, but they started to concern me. And then I got out of the woods, and they didn't follow me any further. All right, I'm going back. I got some things I got to get done. I seen this guy years ago coming down this steep incline on rollerblades, you know, like roller skates, rollerblades. You don't see those so much anymore. And he looked like he might have been 40 or so, thin guy. And he was flying down here on rollerblades. I don't know, he was probably going like 30 miles an hour or so. And he looked terrified. And his wife was down at the bottom, or his woman was down at the bottom of here, yelling to him to be careful. And he wiped out right here. And he got skinned up, you know, and he was kind of limping away when he walked off. I just remember that. His wife's down there, be careful, hon. I was walking down the hill. No rollerblades, shoes for me. So, I'll plan a live feed for June 16th at 5 p.m. And if I can't do it for whatever reason, I will post and let you know. And that's Fillmore State Park, but honestly, there's a lot more to it than this. There's campgrounds and the trails and the falls and the bridges. They've got a beautiful arched stone bridge here too that they built back about 100 years ago here. Man, they just put this convenience store in not too long ago. And being a small town, I know pretty much everybody that works in there by name, and they know me. And how's it going, Tim? Not bad. What's up? Nothing much. Cooking out in my backyard. Yes. My mom's house is to the right there, where it used to be her house. Memories, memories, memories. I'm curious how the track's coming. I'm just going to take a look. I miss the track. That's where I prefer to go to get my exercise, because it's, you know, it's a quarter-mile track. You keep track of your time and your progress. It's convenient. There's never was anybody out here. Look at what they're doing to my track. God. Man, they got some big plans here. Wow. New playground. Too, I see. You know, I got quite a ghost story from this place. That building there, right in front, the big brick, the one right in front, that's the elementary school. That one right there, they put that in about 10 years ago. It's a gymnasium for the middle school. Well, there used to be a sand box in a little playground area with the sandboxes and stuff like that, stuff for little kids. And I was at that track over there late at night. I told this story, the Sandbox Ghost Girl. That was from there, and it happened at night, after sundown. Wasn't quite pitch black out yet. You could still see, but yeah, I encountered a little girl, dressed like from the 1800s. She had long white dress on, black pointy black leather boots, and her blonde hair was done up in ringlets, like they used to do with a curling iron, I think. And I never saw her face, but you want to hear that? Look up Sandbox Ghost Girl on my channel. That happened over there. That didn't used to be there until about 10 years ago. It was grass, and there was a playground. But right behind my car is a very old graveyard, Dry Creek Cemetery. And when I asked her, I said, "Do you live around here?" And she just said, "Mm-hmm." And I bet she came from up there. I'll bet she did. Yeah, I got another ghost story from there. My daughter witnessed that one about 25 years ago. Quite a story. Strange people. Dry Creek Cemetery ghost. Yeah, you've heard my ghost stories from this town. They're ongoing. Nothing major has happened lately, and quite frankly, I'm glad. You know, I prayed. I don't want these things to happen. And I ask God to protect me, and it's unnerving when they happen in your home. It's unnerving because it just is. So, not much to talk about. It's just, I guess that's a good thing. I've had a rather turbulent past few years. I think God's given me this quiet time for His own purposes for me. He is the author of our lives, from start to end, till He calls us back home. So many things. I don't have the answers for so many things, and I won't. So take a little drive around the village. You're my company. You are my company. I used to live on this street, and I've got some stories from this street. Man hung himself about 30 years ago on the street light right in front of me here. I wasn't here then. People told me about it. And up here on the left, a lot of people don't know this, in the reddish house, actually no, the one right to my left now, when I lived on this street, a man hung himself in the closet. He was handicapped, and good Lord, yeah, he was in a wheelchair. And up here on the right, the gray house on the right was my house, the Congress Street house, and they've worked on it. They've done a lot of work to it, and that place was one of the most haunted places I've ever lived in. I actually sought help. I needed help. It was getting really bad. And right in front of us here, with a green light, used to be the hospital around 1900, I'm told. Used to know an old woman a long time ago that said she was born there. And in front of me here is the Baptist church that I attend occasionally. And right to my left is a Civil War monument that I saw two ghosts of two children standing in front of, acting rather strange, looking at me when I came out of church. And the boy was dressed up like in an old white sailor outfit, and the girl had a white dress on. And It's just something about this town. I couldn't tell you why, but it is very spiritually active. Powers Library, they claim to be the oldest library of some sort, still continuous operation. That's to the right. And I'll tell you what happened. I'm going back on my street. Unfortunate, sad that man hung himself. This happened, good Lord, 20 years ago or at least. And I knew somebody, they rent the place out for apartments then and now. I don't know if they still do. But somebody I knew told me they lived in that house, and I told him nothing about this. I told them nothing at all about this. I got an odd story about this house in front of us. It's not a ghost story. It's really weird. I told them nothing about what happened in there. And they told me they lived in that place, and they said the closet was haunted. He said that he'd seen somebody in the closet. I told him what had happened there, and they flipped out. They didn't live there anymore, but they were like, wow. Wow. Well, back in the late 90s, I was in a chat room when I lived over there, 2 houses that way. And I was in a world global chat where everybody back then just meets up. You know, it's just a chat room. If you remember late 90s chat room like Yahoo Chat, I was in a global one where it doesn't say where you're from. It doesn't say anything like that. Whatever your chat name is, that's it. And you click on somebody and say hello, and they might answer you back, and you start talking. That was back before it was full of bots and spam, and you could actually get on a conversation from somebody from another country, which was pretty cool. And back then it was. Now you don't think anything of it. But it was new then. Well, I met somebody, and we started chatting. And I said, I'm in the United States. And they said, I'm in the United States too. I said, really? I've been in New York State. I am not making this up, seriously. And I'm chatting, and they said, I'm in New York State too. And I said, really? I'm in upstate. They said, I'm in upstate New York. I said, wow, whereabouts? Central New York? I'm in Central New York. The person's chatting to me. For all I knew, they were in Australia. I didn't know. And I said, where in Central New York? I said, I live in Moravia. They said, I live in Moravia. I'm like, no way. And I said, where in Moravia? And I told them this street, Congress Street. And they said, that's where I live. Then there was a big pause. I'm 2 houses up on my computer upstairs late at night. And I said, walk out onto your front porch. And I walked out onto my front porch, and a woman walked out on her front porch right here. And I walked over here and talked to her, and we both kind of flipped out like, wow. What are the odds? Millions to one. Many millions to one. And she was about my age then, which was to say she was in her 30s, and she was single. And she thought it was a sign from God that her and I were supposed to be together. You know what? She might have been right. And she wanted to be with me in a bad way. And I told her no. And I didn't want to. She was pretty upset. What's the odds that she's going to see this video and get upset with me? Probably about 500 million to 1. But then again, what were the odds that her and I would meet like we did, 2 houses apart, in a global chat room on Yahoo, where people from all over the earth just chime in, and it doesn't say anything about who they are or where they're from. You know, you just think you're going to be talking to somebody from far away. And this house on the right, man, I collect old bottles. I went in there years ago. The place was for sale. And I went just walking around inside the place. I went down in the basement. And I'm in there alone. This is not a ghost story. And it was like a bottle collector's dream come true. I couldn't believe it. The basement was full of these really old hand-blown bottles. Crates full of them. Crates. All full of cobwebs and dust. Like bottles that were like 200 years old. embossed. And the realtor came by then. It was a young guy. That's to say, he was in his 30s. That's when this happened with me. And I said, could I buy he said he would sell me the bottles for $1, all of them. He said he couldn't just give them to me. And I didn't have $1 on me. And I said, I'll be right back. And he wouldn't wait. And all those bottles are in this one little room in the basement there. And I actually knocked on the door and talked to the people there. And it was kind of weird. More timblab. Sorry, I'm going to go up Long Hill Road. Then you can see this town from up on the hill. And I told them, in your basement, there used to be crates full of old bottles. And they said, yeah, they're still there. And they said that they cement blocked off that wall. They're sealed in. It was like a root cellar part of their basement. They said they sealed it in, all of it. And they didn't really care about the bottles at all. Yeah, now we're leaving Moravia. Welcome to my town. Life in a hick town. You know, it was a big deal to me to come to France. And now it's back to this town. This town doesn't have a bar, it doesn't have a restaurant, it doesn't have a diner, doesn't have a bakery, doesn't even have a coffee shop. It does have 2 pizza places, and it does have a Chinese food restaurant. And it's got a Dollar General and 2 gas stations. 4 churches, 5 churches, post office, 2 banks, drugstore that my mom put there years ago as a businesswoman. So I gotta turn this thing around and go home. I just thought I'd drive around and blab. Haven't done a timblab. I'm supposed to be getting a mini dachshund soon. Actually, my cousin down in Virginia has a miniature dachshund that is pregnant from another miniature dachshund. And they're due this week. And she says, to me, she knows I've been through a hard time with the deaths that I've had. And I also lost my own dog. And she told me if I drive down to Virginia, where she lives, she would let me have pick of the litter. And I'm going to take her up on that when these dogs are about 7 weeks old. I'm going to turn this rig around and go back. So hopefully I'll have a little puppy to keep me company, and it should be good. I know that guy. Yeah, I know him. To my left. Actually up here to my left. I haven't seen him in ages. Yep. So, I'll be going for walks with a little dachshund. Hopefully. I hope. Nothing, who knows. I don't imagine I'll be going for very long walks with a miniature dachshund puppy. That's going to be weird. Can't say as I've ever had one of those. So, Long Hill Road, because it's a road on a long hill. I used to live on a road on the other side of town, Franklin Road, which was just off of Big Hill Road, because it was a dirt road on a big hill. Really creative, aren't they? My road, Walnut Street, Grove Street, the Walnut Grove. So I just don't know what I'm doing. I started a book when I was in France. I got far into it on what I've learned about grieving through the loss of loved ones and the spiritual encounters I had, and God from a Christian perspective, but also things I learned in all three of those encounters. And I got far into the book, but I haven't written a thing on it since I've been back to New York. I've just kind of been in a rut, getting through each day. I haven't been playing my music. Who do I have no audience. YouTube, but I'm really out of practice. Really not much going on in this town. There's not much to do. That's why having a beer, doing a beer review, that's a big thrill. Cooking out, walking your dog. But there's virtually no crime here. I mean, when I went to France for 5 weeks, I left my doors unlocked. I wasn't worried about it. When I came back, nothing was bothered. How many people can say that? You go away for 5 weeks and leave your house unlocked and not worry about it. I can say that. So this is a sleepy little town. It has its perks. Fresh air, no crime. Beautiful weather in the summer and the fall. Winter and spring are less than desirable. Beautiful nature. Very spiritual place. There's 4 churches in this town. And a lot of ghosts. I can tell you that. Those things, as a matter of fact.